talking Major League Soccer today and a few events over the last few weeks and some bigger events coming up on the horizon makes it a good time to see where MLS stacks in the big picture of things with comparison to other leagues, with other clubs. Some news coming out that certainly we can dabble in here to get a better idea. Some of it you can take it at face value, and some of it, well, you got to take it with a grain of salt. So we're going to break it all down. I'll let you know where MLS stands because it's standing pretty well. Despite what you might hear from people here on YouTube, it is doing pretty well. Good news on the broadcast front, good news on the stadium front, good news on the competition front. We'll break it all down here on the Soccer OG. Like and subscribe. Let's get the followers up. Let's get it. Let's get the views up. Share this with your friends. We're going to get into that algorithm, and we're going to get a lot of people to see this because it's an important topic for everything in American soccer. And with the World Cup looming, leave a comment. We'll open discourse. Love to have a conversation with you if you approve or if you want to. So we're looking at what is happening here with regards to Major League Soccer. I want to get this one out of the way because we had the valuations where there was 19 MLS teams in the top 50, and this is where we, according to, was it Sportico, and you certainly have to take that with a grain of salt. Now, there are clubs there like LAFC and Inter Miami and Atlanta United, LAFC in Atlanta and LA Galaxy, where the ownership owns those stadiums, and those stadiums put it above and beyond. The stadiums is a big difference maker. So I don't doubt that LAFC or Atlanta United or the LA Galaxy, if they were sold, they would get close to that asking price. I saw NYCFC on there, or New York City, we're supposed to call them now, which I think sounds a lot better. They don't have their stadium yet, which I don't think allows them to get up that high in the valuations. When they do get a stadium, when Inter Miami gets a stadium, these valuations are pretty spot on. But there's a lot of factors put into this, and competition-wise, we know that when you put together the top 50 clubs in the world, 19 of them are not in Major League Soccer. I understand that. It's not even close. Probably not even one in the top 50. I understand. But this is the direction we're going. And whether you want to believe it or not, the valuations matter, and this is something that is going to strengthen the coffers of Major League Soccer. It's going to make it more appealing for owners. It's going to make it more appealing for investors. It's going to make it more appealing for players and fans, you name it. So that came out. MLS was proud of it. Let them have their moment. Because, I work for LAFC, and if they sold it, they would get that asking price because their stadium is immaculate in downtown LA. Atlanta United has the biggest benefactor in Major League Soccer in Arthur Blank. Phil Anschutz, Uncle Phil. He's not messing around. Even though the Galaxy are struggling, this is a guy who time and time again has boosted the sport. These people are very powerful, and they're very wealthy, and they can make Major League Soccer better, which they already have. So let's look on the field, because there's a lot at stake with regards to Liga MX, which is really, to me, the future of MLS and where it can go. Can MLS close the gap on Liga MX of Mexico, which is a better league? The top clubs are better. They spend more money, so you can't compete with that. You can't compete with that depth and the chance to get a star player, whether it's Monterrey, Tigres, Club America, etc. But as we've seen, a lot of these teams have lost to MLS clubs. We have seen the breakthrough in the Concacaf Champions Cup. Only the Sounders have won in recent years, but we certainly feel on June the 1st, Vancouver Whitecaps have a good chance. And they have beaten Monterrey, they've beaten Pumas. There are more head-to-head success stories with regards to MLS in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. That said, they've got to win this tournament. If they win this tournament, you've got something there to hang your hat on if you're MLS. And it's going to come. If not the Vancouver Whitecaps, perhaps soon. Inter Miami had a chance, LAFC had a chance. There are no blowouts like we've seen in years past between Liga MX and MLS teams. That is for certain. The Leagues Cup, again, take it with a grain of salt because all the games are being played here in the United States or here in North America. But MLS not only have won that competition, they completely decimated Liga MX. And you can sit there and tell me that the Mexican clubs don't really value it. I call the games. I can see effort when I see it. They haven't done it. Coming to play here is a huge disadvantage. Mexican teams would be much more successful if MLS teams had to go there. I don't doubt that for a second. But what we've seen in the Concacaf Champions Cup, MLS teams are getting more and more results over there. So there you have it. The Leagues Cup cannot be denied. This last year, and it'll start again this summer, but this last edition, it was all 4 semifinalists were MLS teams. The year before, 3 of 4. This year, Leagues Cup fielded the Concacaf Champions Cup. There were 10 MLS teams there, and I think there were 6 from Mexico. That allows MLS to have a better shot of winning the Concacaf Champions Cup. Leagues Cup is a pathway. And while Leagues Cup has not caught on with the fans and in many other categories, it is still in diapers. And it's part of where I think MLS needs to look to grow. And I will continue all my thoughts and we'll circle back to that. So there's some big games here on the horizon for MLS teams. Vancouver Whitecaps in Mexico City against Cruz Azul for the CONCACAF Champions Cup final. Cruz Azul's a favorite because it's being played there. I think it was on a neutral field, or if it was in Vancouver. The Whitecaps, who have been a phenomenal story, they have lost 2 games in 21 to make this final and are the best team in MLS, are the favorites, if that was the case. I still think Vancouver wins it. I thought Columbus were going to win it last year. They looked excellent throughout the competition, stubbed their toe. You could see they ran out of steam against Pachuca. Then you have the Club World Cup. 2 teams are going to be there for Major League Soccer. This is a competition with the best clubs in the world, Europe and South America. I know a lot of people don't want this tournament to succeed. I would admit to you as well, it's hard to get super excited, but when FIFA drops $1 billion into this, that is going to invigorate teams. Money makes the world go round. So teams like Manchester City and Real Madrid and Chelsea and Juventus are going to go for it because they want to make the most amount of money because it helps the bottom line. Money matters. South American teams for years have looked at the Confederations Cup or whatever we called it as an opportunity to beat the big dogs in Europe. And they have won it many times, and they've come close on many occasions. They are going to make this Club World Cup a success because Flamengo, the biggest team, the most popular team in South America, and a bunch of Brazilian teams, Palmeiras, River Plate, Boca Juniors, they're going to come with tons of fans. So the South American teams are going to, in my estimation, save this competition. American fans are going to come out to see the big European clubs. So while there'll be some empty stadiums, there are going to be a lot of fans in some of these games as well, and the money makes a big difference. Seattle Sounders, they get to play their 3 games in Seattle at Lumen Field. They're going to play PSG and Atletico and Botafogo. They don't really have a shot there. Botafogo won the Libertadores. PSG might be the best team in Europe right now. But maybe they get a result. So whatever happens, if they can win a game, that is huge for MLS, and it proves that on the world stage, they're getting better. This Club World Cup is huge for MLS teams to show what they do. If they fall flat and they get beaten like a drum, it won't be good. But I don't think it's going to happen because of home field and because MLS is better. Inter Miami is going to open. They have a more favorable tournament. I think Inter Miami is going to win a game. Maybe that first one against Al Ahly. And I'm not saying that to diminish the African teams or the Asian teams, but Inter Miami has Lionel Messi and Luis Suarez and Sergio Busquets and some very good players. I think either Inter Miami or the Sounders will win a game. Will they advance out of the groups? No. But winning a game is good, more money for the league. MLS takes a step forward. Now you have that qualifier between LAFC and Club America, which could get a third MLS team in there. I think LAFC have a really good shot to win it. They're going to be playing at home from the reports we're hearing. And if they get in, and they probably deserve to be in because with Club Leon getting knocked out, logic says the runner-up from that CONCACAF Champions Cup should get in. I'm okay with the playoff. I think it's exciting. And now we have the richest game in North American history, what they're saying about $10 million. Club America and LAFC playing for a spot. I think it's close to a toss-up. As great as Club America has been, LAFC has played well against Mexican clubs. They played Club America in a friendly. They beat Club America. I know it's a friendly. There's going to be a lot of Club America fans. We have these 2 big games. If the Whitecaps and LAFC both win, or if one of the 2 win, progress for MLS, they are moving up the pecking order. And then we'll see what the Club World Cup. If you get 3 teams in the Club World Cup, look, we could get 2 teams in the Club World Cup. We could have the Vancouver Whitecaps lose. I just don't see one-sided results in any of those things. Maybe PSG beats the Sounders 5-1 or something like that. But all the other parts that I mentioned, I think MLS will hold their hand up well. So we have that. They're closing in on Mexico, and now they get a shot at the world. Now, the other thing that's been making the rounds is where it stands with accordance to USL. I love what USL is doing. I think what they're doing with promotion relegation within their leagues is good. It's good to get more fans in markets that aren't in MLS. More soccer is better. We appreciate USL for that. I have a lot of good friends at New Mexico United. I have visited them. I'm planning on going to a game out there. I'm a big fan of what they're doing, and I pay attention to USL. But because of promotion relegation, and they got good ratings on some TV games that aired on CBS, which again is to be applauded, you'll hear some people saying that USL is on the brink of passing MLS. And that is folly. And we had a US Open Cup, which is the best chance for USL to play MLS. 10 MLS teams, there were 16 teams total. The top 10 teams were not in there. LAFC, Inter Miami, FC Cincinnati, LA Galaxy. They were not in the US Open Cup because they had their plate cleared a little bit because they were in the Concacaf Champions Cup, or they're going to be in the Leagues Cup. Despite not having some of the best teams, in the round of 32, 15 of 16 MLS teams won their ties. So the round of 16 in the Open Cup has 15 MLS teams and the Pittsburgh Riverhounds of USL. The gap between MLS and USL is not closing. In fact, it is getting bigger. And it is going to continue to get bigger because there's no money in USL in comparison to MLS. So when people tell you the romantics about promotion relegation, it's not going to work for USL closing the gap. What we saw at the Open Cup was clear as day. The games were kind of close, but there were some blowouts. Maybe a couple games could have gone in the USL's favor, but there's not going to be a USL team winning this. It's going backwards for them. And I've said before, one day I'd love to see promotion relegation in MLS. I think it's good because it'd be interesting and different with regards to the North American leagues to have something that the NFL or Major League Baseball or NBA doesn't have. But we're not there, and to be perfectly honest, when I see what the best route for success for MLS, it is expanding CONCACAF Champions Cup, it is expanding the Leagues Cup. Play with Mexico, play with CONCACAF in North America, and see if you get a pathway to the Club World Cup, because it may go away at some point, but it's not going away here, and it's not going to go away for the next edition, because FIFA's really behind it. And that is where MLS will go, and MLS is going to grow even more because the World Cup is in 2026. So in closing, I know some people there want to poo-poo on MLS. All of it is there. The broadcast numbers are proving to be better. There are relationships with local TV stations, so you're going to get more eyeballs. There are more fans coming to games. There was 24,000 at the Red Bulls game. There was a record crowd for the Vancouver Whitecaps in their game against LAFC. The numbers are going, so you can dig your head in the sand. I'm just telling you, MLS is going like this. And one day it's going to go like that. It depends on these results coming up in Champions Cup, in that play-in game at the Club World Cup, and the Club World Cup itself. But I expect MLS to have a good, maybe a very good participation in all those games. The Soccer OG, MLS is doing well. USL, we're pulling for you. Thank you for everything you do, and hopefully you are made whole, but there's no way there's going to be promotion relegation when the gap is that big. The Soccer OG, like and subscribe, drop a note. Let's chat about it if you want to open it. I'm an open book. Let's party. We'll be back again next week. Or sooner. I don't know.